lived a life that's full. He traveled each and every highway. And more, much more than that. He did it Neil's way. So those masters and guests, good evening. It is always a joy to grace these great halls and to have the opportunity to address this august body. I see friends that have become family, and I see my brothers. This night is one that has become very near and dear to my heart. I think it's maybe my fifth or sixth time speaking. But it's because of the importance that the role that Neil played in this organization. And because of the role that Neil played in my life and the bond that we built that started right here in this club. Neil wore many hats. Neil was plenty of things. And you're going to hear about a lot of that tonight between myself and the other speakers on the program this evening. But my focus this evening in regards to Neil is going to be in three phases. Neil the Toastmaster, Neil the businessman, and Neil my friend. When I joined this Toastmasters Club, I joined in 2001. Toastmaster Cyprian Gibson was the incoming president. Hey! I first began to visit the club, not knowing the timelines of how things worked in the club, but Toastmaster Roger Colbert was president when he first started visiting the club. And in meeting Toastmaster Colbert, he said, listen, keep coming. We're probably going to let you come in next year, but keep coming, and that's what happened. So I joined this August and great organization under the leadership of Toastmaster Cyprian Gibson. During my first few months in Club 1600, I used to come to meeting. We were meeting at Breezes then, those who remember Breezes. We were meeting at Breezes then, came to meetings. I left and I went home. That probably went on for about a month or two. Until one evening, after the gavel bang and the meeting was adjourned, as I was walking out, 12 o'clock, our usual time. As I was walking out of the meeting hall, Neil was sitting in one of the big chairs up at Breezes. And he's like, Toastmaster Duncombe, let me have a word with you. It's like, I've been noticing that you always go straight home after meetings. And I'm like, that's not normal. It's like, no man, you gotta come to the meeting after the meeting. I said, well, tell me more. So he said, the meeting after the meeting usually is the time that Toastmasters get together, they fellowship, and they talk about the program, they talk about things outside of the program. It could be business ideas, it could be learning the profession of other Toastmasters so that we can build a network. So it's really about fellowshipping, getting to know our Toastmasters much better. So with that being said, you didn't have to twist my arm too hard. I started attending the meeting after the meeting, which at that time the place we were frequenting would have been the old Top Shotters on Howard Road, which is a place that we spent many hours and many meetings after the meeting, and plenty of money. So that was Neil's introduction of me to more of the social aspect of this organization. And that is where I had the opportunity to build some lifetime bonds with many of the men that seated at the tee right now. So I said to the sake of those masters, don't just go straight home. You come to the meeting after the meeting and fellowship with your fellow Toastmasters to learn more about what they do, network with them, because it can help you either in your career or business interests you may have. Another element of Neil, in terms of the Toastmaster in Neil, and I'm sure someone's going to mention it, but Neil was known as the gatekeeper. So he was an active member of the membership committee. played a very vital role on the membership committee. And all I will say, Toastmaster Perry Young, is Neil was there for one reason. He was there to ensure that prospective members didn't look away. No! Don't look away. No! That was Toastmaster Neil Preseni, the gatekeeper. Toastmaster Neil Preseni, the businessman. And this is the part that we didn't talk about. They make plenty of money. But Neil, by trade, or we call it profession, was a customs broker. Prior to that, he was a barber in Harbor Island. Are you correct? He was a barber. When he came to town, I think he still did a little bit of barbering, and then he ventured into customs brokering, and then he owned the bar, first and last, through Union Village, which is again another place that many of the men seated around this team have frequented and spent a lot of time as well. Now, that might sound concerning, right? If you have any idea about Union Village, you may be concerned about your safety. But when I tell you when we got to Union Village, we were treated like family. We never had an issue. Nothing ever went missing. Nothing ever happened. Nothing of nothing. We just did what we did. All right? We had our drinks, we fellowship, we have our cigars, and we have a good time.
That's our story of the state.
Neil was trying to encourage me to get into the retail business. And it was a long debate, I'll never forget it. We were sitting on the front porch of the establishment. And he was trying to convince me to get into the retail business. I said, Neil, my biggest problem in retail business is I hate to see my money on the shelf. And the staff sitting on their hands. And that's going to be a problem for me. Because once I invest my money in inventory, I want to see it move. But Neil was like, no. You got to be patient. You have to be patient and allow things to take its course. And so even though Neil toiled and had challenges with that establishment, he continued to invest in it because he knew the importance of that establishment, not for himself and his pockets, but to the community. Because that was like a home base for the entire community when everybody came to conjugate and fellowship. And because of that, Neil ensured that the community stayed safe and they stayed bonded and working with each other. So he saw the importance of that beyond the business, even though he was a businessman. And the businessman Neil was, just the part that breaks my heart. On the night of the untimely demise of our dear brother, Neil had secured a contract with one of the largest courier companies in this country. And the plan was for him to go and sign that contract on the morning of his demise. The plans were already made. The company was already created. Three Kings Incorporated. And that was supposed to be the opportunity that changed our lives forever. But in his infinite wisdom, God didn't see it through. But Neil, the businessman, inspired me to always look for opportunities to grow and to make a positive impact, not only in the community, but in our country. Now, Neil, my friend, I want to apologize for my attire this evening because this is not the standard of this club. I want to make that very clear. This is not the standard of this club. But because of a night like this, I could not help it, and there's a story to this. I actually purchased this shirt about 4 or 5 years ago. It was actually pre-COVID. Pre-COVID when I purchased this shirt. Ironically, I was away with Ferran, of all people, and we were in the store, and I saw the shirt, and I said, look at Neil. Because this was Neil's attire. If anyone know Neil, you all could have us wearing a shirt like this. This was Neil's attire. Neil always looked like he was on vacation, unless he was making money. So I purchased the shirt 4 years ago in his honor. And I had it hanging up for a very long time. This is really only the second time I've worn the shirt. And the second time I've worn the shirt this year. Never wore it before. But I wore it because, and I kept it in my closet because it always reminded me of Neil. Neil actually was the person, despite probably from people thinking it's Dwayne, Neil was the man that put my first cigar in my hand. It was a Romeo and Juliet Churchill that I will never ever forget. And my first taste of scotch actually came as a result of Neil as well. So it's safe to say that Neil is responsible for all my bad habits. But every time I take the time to light a cigar, that is my way of keeping my connection and my bond with Neil. Because every single time I do it, I think of it. And I remember him for the man who he was. I remember the contribution he made to his community and how much he loved that Union Village community. I remember the commitment that he made to this program and his organization. And even today, that feeling is still being celebrated because it's evident. Mr. President, I wasn't there, but I saw the picture. It was an awesome back to school event. And that is as a result of the impact that Neil made in his organization. So, Neil, my friend, he did it his way. And, hold on now. Right. For what is a man? For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he is not. Neil said the things he truly feared, and never the words of one who kneeled. The record shows. He took some blows, but he did it Neil's way. With the champ.